Welcome to Compassion Speaks, where we give a voice to the nonprofits in the community. I'm your host, Stephanie Player, and today on our show we have Delbert Carr, the Outreach Program Manager for NASCARE. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for coming. I'm really excited to have you here today to talk about your program. So I'm just going to jump in. What is NASCARE?
Well, thank you for asking. It's a long acronym, and it means Northern Arizona Consumers Advancing Recovery by Empowerment.
Wow, that is a long acronym. So what does that mean?
Well, and it's the parent company for a nonprofit that helps the community, helps people dealing with substance abuse and mental illness in their lives. So we're open to the community and anybody who would like to learn more or who are currently going through it. But we're a peer-run organization, and what that means is that we're by the peer for the peer. So we are created by people who have experienced mental illness or substance abuse in their life, and so many of our board of directors and our staff are people who have lived experience.
Wow, so it offers a unique perspective. Having experienced it yourself, you're able to mentor,
right,
at least, to those who are currently going through something that is challenging for them and help them to work through it because you've also been able to work through it.
Right.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about what kind of services you guys provide. What are kind of the nitty-gritty, need-to-know facts? If somebody's interested, somebody is watching this and they say, that sounds like something that could help me or one of my loved ones, what would they need to do in order to get involved?
Well, all somebody has to do is just come in to one of our wellness centers. And our wellness center here in Show Low is actually named Discovery Center. And our wellness center in Eager is named Power Wellness Center. So that's really all they have to do is kind of come in and state their interest, talk about how they can be helped or supported. There's many different things that we do. Of course, our number one thing is peer support, being able to talk one-on-one with somebody about what they're going through and have some empathy, with our experience. And another thing we do is life skills. So, many people who have been dealing with some of these things in their life maybe didn't get a chance to learn some very important life skills along the way. And so we do that as well. We learn different life skills like housekeeping and different chores or working on vehicles even. It just depends on who we have available and what their strengths are. Another thing we do is supportive employment. And so getting our peers back in the workforce and back into the community so we can reduce stigma. There's a stigma that says if you've dealt with any kind of mental illness or substance abuse that you're not going to be valuable for the community, and that's just not true. We've still got great value, and we can still help make our community a better place. And so we do a lot of those things. Another thing is we have the NASCARE Training Institute.
Oh.
And so we are a nationally accredited certifying agency, and so we actually train peer support specialists. And so if somebody comes to us who has been through some of these challenges and has some skills that would love to learn how to help others who are going through it, we actually have a state certification training where we certify them as peer support specialists.
Oh.
From there, they can be hired on at the behavioral health clinic, like Community Counseling Center, which we work with, or Little Colorado Behavioral Health, or even us.
Wow. So it's kind of not only helping these individuals at the point in which they need that intervention and assistance, but providing them with options to thus take their experience and give back to others that are currently experiencing that in their own lives. It's kind of this interesting cycle that you have going on there.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. So I guess my next question is, what kind of, are there any fees for the services if somebody needs support in this fashion and they want to get involved with your agency, get in contact with you guys? Is there any out-of-pocket costs? Do they have to have any type of specialized insurance coverage? What are those qualifying things that they need to have?
There can be. One way that we work is through referral from Little Colorado Behavioral Health or Community Counseling Center. And in that case, if somebody has access health coverage, then it's not at any charge for them. But we are a community service agency, and we want to get it's a safe place to come with reduced stigma, and we want to get the community in as well. And so we do have a very small sliding scale fee for somebody if they want to come in, and it's called our in-kind program. So somebody might work around the center, or agree to work around the center possibly for their services, something in kind. And it's kind of a person-to-person basis where we're able to work with them on that.
That is really cool, because I know that in working with the community, and there's so many different wonderful agencies up here, but we do have a lot of low-income clientele that it would be a challenge for them to be able to receive the services that they need if there were a cost for that. So what a unique idea to be able to still be able to assist them even if they don't have health care coverage, or they're not coming in under a referral basis, to be able to still allow them to do that, and they can just work it off by helping out around the center.
Right.
Wonderful.
Well, as a nonprofit, we do work with, like I said, some of the behavioral health clinics, but we work under contract block grant with NARBA. So I want to mention Northern Arizona Regional Behavioral Health Authority. And so that's where we work a lot of our services. But as a nonprofit, we have a lot of unfunded services that we give, and that in-kind program is that unfunded, where many of our donations also helps go towards that, giving people services who need the services, because we feel everybody has mental health, good, bad, or indifferent, and we should all be able to go to a place and safely learn how to take care of ourselves and others and support others without exorbitant cost.
Right, right. So you mentioned that some of these are unfunded. So let's say somebody wants to help you guys out, and this is a nonprofit organization. Right. You guys do accept donations, I'm assuming.
No, absolutely, of course we do.
Right.
And it's very easy to donate to us. NASCare.org has a one-touch PayPal donation there. Or you could even come into one of our wellness centers, and we're absolutely happy to give you a tax-deductible receipt, and even include you in our newsletter too, so that you can see what some of the outcomes are of what your donation's helping with and doing.
Oh, that's awesome, and I know that that means a lot, and I want to kind of segue to that too. Tell me about your success stories. Is there some examples that you can give of how your program has impacted the lives of these local community members that you're helping?
Absolutely. We have great success with people who are coming into employment that felt like, it was actually said, I didn't think I'd ever work again, or that I'd ever want to work again. And people who have told us, we didn't feel like we had any value anymore in the community, but now I'm volunteering and I'm a part of my local church, and I'm doing things. And so we have great success stories, and even myself as a staff person, I really wish that when I was going through some of the things that I was, when I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, I wish there had been a place like this for me. And coming in and working for NASCare, it's been 6 years, I've gotten a lot out of it. I'm not allowed to get services at the same time of giving them, but it just happens. It's the helper's principle. It's very rewarding. And so I've seen people grow and people be able to come to accept themselves and see their weaknesses as strengths now.
Oh, how wonderful. And yes, how incredibly rewarding in the helping fields that we work in, to assist those that are vulnerable and those that are at risk and going through these crises in their lives, to be able to be that helping hand to them and that guiding hand to them as well, to get them to a better place. That makes it all worth it. And that's something that the community here can help to get involved in too.
Absolutely. Because we move in the direction of where peers see needs. One thing really exciting that we have going on, again, this is not funded, it's just we saw a need as peers, we saw a need for our community for a deaf and hard of hearing warm line, where people can call in. It's a video call, and talk about their stresses, and just being able to communicate with somebody. And we did have unfunded, we do still, a regular hearing warm line, but now we've seen the need for a deaf and hard of hearing warm line that's also video chat and also text. Some people perhaps would prefer to text instead of even phone call or video. Right.
Well, sometimes it can be challenging in order to really meet the needs of every single person out there in the community, and what their abilities are or disabilities are. And so good for you guys for coming up, identifying that need to begin with, and then coming up with a solution to help to reach out to those individuals.
Thank you.
What a wonderful thing. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to mention as we wrap things up here today, Delbert?
Well, I know that we've been in the area for a long time, but I also know that there's a great many people that don't know that we're here, and I just wanted to be able to really appreciate the chance to tell everyone that we are here. We are working for the community, and there are certain things that we can definitely use help with, and if you're interested in learning more, please come into one of our wellness centers. Right now we're actually working on trying to get some donations together for housing. Is a big need that we have in the area, and we did start building on housing, but funding fell through for that, so we are currently working on trying to rebuild that.
Awesome. Well, and we'll have all of your contact information here at the end of the segment. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I greatly appreciate it, and I'm so glad to hear of all the wonderful work that you guys are doing.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And stay tuned. We'll be right back with the Navajo County Drug Project. Welcome back to Compassion Speaks. Joining us now are Debbie Campbell, the Executive Director, and Teresa Calloway, the Program Coordinator for the Navajo County Drug Project. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for being here today. I'm excited to have you guys on. I really am excited to hear about some of the different things that you want to talk about today. But let's just jump right in and let's tell our viewers, what is the Navajo County Drug Project? What's it all about?
Well, Navajo County Drug Project started 10 years ago, actually, as a grassroots organization of community members that were concerned about the meth epidemic. So that's where the genesis came about. That was a time when there was some state funding to fight against methamphetamine, and through a 4-year period of time, that's what happened. We started rolling out information about methamphetamines, which was really, really bad at that time. And I'm sure you remember those horrible ads about this is how you look on meth.
Right.
And it kind of played to the vanity of the youth, especially. So when Arizona was #1 for meth abuse in America, Navajo County was #1 in Arizona. So it was very, very bad here. So fortunately, through that campaign, those numbers went way down, and now we're not like in the top 9 for Arizona. So,
oh wow!
So that was the origins and the genesis of it. Thereafter, we found that other drug problems, when you got your head turned this way, then other drug problems are going to come up on the other side. So prescription drug abuse became the next thing on the horizon. So we realized funding for meth was gone. How were we going to sustain and refund ourselves? We kind of broadened our scope. We were the Navajo County Meth Project, Meth Coalition. So we expanded to other drugs to address other alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, ATOD they call. So through that avenue, we were able to branch out a little bit, attract a little bit more operational money, and continue on limping along with, like all of us nonprofits, with very little to chew on, but trying to make the best of our efforts until in 2013 we were awarded a Drug-Free Communities grant from the Office of National Drug Control. So that's what we're using now to try to beef up our foundation. We do have a nonprofit umbrella structure, Friends of Navajo County Drug Project, under which Navajo County Drug Project is the programmatic arm.
Ah.
So with the new funding, we've been able to hire a program coordinator. We're getting some legs and foundational blocks under us, and moving ahead with the projects, addressing primarily substance abuse prevention for youth in southern Navajo County at this point, Pine Top Lakeside, Show Low, and surrounding areas.
Wonderful, wonderful, and I love that it's I was just mentioning this on an earlier segment. You know, we all kind of have our facets and what it is that we have identified our community needs, and what an important aspect of prevention work with our youth, to talk with them about substance abuse and the implications of getting into that world, all for prevention, but ultimately to better our community as a whole, and to ensure future generations are healthy and happy future generations.
Yeah, I think people were probably surprised to know that the average age of first experimentation or use in Navajo County for youth with any kinds of substances is 12 and a half.
Oh, wow.
We think of this as a problem for older teens, for adults, but you know, the scale is going down. What kids are exposed to today and the way society is, you know, getting to them at a younger age to prevent the damage that can occur from abusing during a time when the brain is not even developed yet. So when you're starting to abuse and abusing for years as a young person, you really are standing to do some permanent damage to your brain and body. So.
Wow, I had no idea that average age was so incredibly low. But again, it's programs like yours that are engaging the community to really educate them on what the consequences of going down that path are, so that way they can make a more educated choice, rather than feeling like, you know, they don't necessarily know what the consequences of doing something like that would be. And I think that with a starting age of that average being so young, there's not a lot of thoughts going to the consequences on that. You know,
well, kids are invincible at that age, and you know, it's not going to happen to me. Right. I see it over there. I've seen it in my family, but you know, it's not going to happen to me. And if I have the facts, instead of just say no, that doesn't work. You know, kids need a reason. People need a reason to make a choice. And if you can give them the facts, then they can make an informed decision.
We've learned so much more about the brain and how it works and how it develops, and it actually develops from the back to the front. So the pleasure centers of your brain actually develop last. So if you experience drugs of any kind from a young age to about age 25, when that's fully developed, then you're much more likely to become an addict, because it has memory in it and it wants that. So.
Wow, how interesting, the science behind it all. And I kind of want to touch on too, so we have the prevention efforts that you guys work so tirelessly to promote in the community, but then there's those that maybe have already kind of delved into that world. We have teens that have started to experiment or have become addicted to different substances. Do you guys have any options for that population of people here, and what can they do to receive any kind of help with that?
Well, that's a great question. We do have a program. It's called Teen AA. We just launched that last month. Oh. And that program is a really special program because it was created by teens, for teens, and it is administered really by teens. So there's a facilitator that we have that's trained, that learned how to make sure that the program runs the way that it should. But the program encompasses all addictions, so it doesn't have to be, even though it's called Teen AA, it can be any addiction. It could be bullying, it could be too much texting, it could be drugs or alcohol or any other types of things that you normally see as being abused. The program's being offered at the White Mountain Youth Center every Friday at 11. And the youth center is right behind is it the Larson Library?
Library, yeah, yes, right there by the Blue Ridge School System in Pine Top Lakeside, yes.
Right.
Very wonderful. Well, what an awesome thing too to have it completely geared towards teens, but designed and formulated by teens, because you know, teens have a tendency to kind of tune out adults sometimes, and to be able to have them actively in the facilitator position of, these are the issues that, you know, my peers are dealing with, and this is something I've also experienced, and I want to help my peers, and my peers will thusly help me. It's such a unique give and take there from everybody involved. Wonderful.
So that program, although we've already launched it in the Pinetop Lakeside area, it will also be launched in the Show Low area.
Wonderful.
So we're probably in the next week we'll have it there.
Oh, wonderful.
And on the campus,
Right.
in a separate facility on the campus, so it's convenient.
Oh.
And they remain anonymous, which is a part of the program. So
Right. Well, and that's something that there has to be that confidentiality there for
Right.
them to feel comfortable to share. Definitely. Awesome. Well, I know that there's probably a lot of people here that are saying, wow, what a great program. How can I get involved? How can I help? What can I do to help this organization succeed? Do you guys do fundraisers or have any other ways in which people can get involved or help to support your organization?
go ahead.
We are a nonprofit, a 501c3, so anyone that donates to us, of course, gets a nonprofit tax write-off federally, but also because we're a charitable organization in Arizona, every dollar that you give to us, up to $400 a couple, then comes off of your Arizona tax burden. So instead of paying Phoenix, you can spend the money here, and you know where it stays. So that's a good option, and so you get that deduction or that kind of almost a reimbursement from the state, but also on the federal taxes. So that's, we take anything like that. And we do have some really kind of oddball fundraisers, try to be creative and do something that interests people, something a little different. We have an amazing shoe drive.
Everybody's heard
every
of the
summer,
shoe drive.
and
Yes.
that is 10,000 pairs of shoes that we shipped off to third world countries last year.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And that raised about $4,000 for us. We sell turkeys over the holidays. That raises money for us. But we also will be participating in the Arizona Gives Day this year.
Arizona Gives Day is a wonderful state program that will launch. It's one day, April 7th, and it's designed for anyone who likes to give to organizations to have that one day that they recognize as a day of giving. So you would just, if you wanted to donate on that day, you would just go to arizonagives.givebig.org.
Awesome.
And then all you have to do is find the organization that you want to donate to. So for us, it would be under Friends of Navajo County. And they have a program that makes it very simple. All you have to do is click and pledge. It's simply, put in the amount and there you go. So it makes it very easy to donate, and it certainly helps us.
Wonderful. And I know too that the Arizona Gives program, they have these specialized contests too. So even though, let's say all you can give is $10 and you feel like, all I can give is a measly $10. Well, some organizations that get, the most number of donations, or sometimes they pick them at random, get a certain amount of money to help to go towards that organization too. So there's all these little internal contests that they do during this really big giving day that they have. So very cool. I'm glad that you guys are involved in that. Is there anything else that you guys want to mention as we're wrapping things up here today about the Navajo County Drug Project or any of your programs?
Oh, we've relocated temporarily to the White Mountain Youth Center, which is very convenient, as we mentioned.
Right.
That facility has been kind of brushed up and painted and cleaned up and spruced up, and
exciting.
it's available for community members to hold meetings, activities, events, and those kinds of things. Certainly welcome to contact us, come by and have a look.
Wonderful.
We've got a full kitchen, and it's a decent meeting space.
Oh, great.
And that's something that the community is kind of short on sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have all the contact information and address information right here at the end of this segment for you guys. So thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Learned a lot about you guys and all the good work that you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today. Be sure to tune in next month to hear Compassion Speak. The White Mountain Safe House is a private, nonprofit program dedicated to providing shelter, care, and advocacy for victims of domestic violence. If you or anyone you know is in need of services, please contact our 24-hour hotline at 928-367-6017. If you would like to support our organization in any way, please visit our website for more information at wmsafehouse.org.